Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 11 of 12 out. Excuse me, round 11 of 12 in the 1996 laps and sort the order for today's Grand Prix. I'm your commentator, Matthew Sigonoli, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. So, let's see what the situation is down on the circuit at the moment. We have Owen Potter in pole, 121.97. In the McLaren garage, Ronan Griffin, 10th of a second behind Tina Curtis. Alexis the banker lap for Benetton. On an out lap, we've seen Carol Osterman prior to this practice with a very strong race pace. Ferraris together, Salvatore Soriano waiting in the pits. And current Constructors Title World Champion. Six with another title as earned in '94. Sports cars division of virtual Formula 1 and currently leading the Dutch Rennsport Meisterschaft standings for Schnitzel Motorsport. And there's myself just an extra card for Soriano. Did a very good race at Spa-Francorchamps before I got a mistake, took a bit of running. That's Lewis Wedding now with pole. Italian team, so it's very perfect. So, speaking in Italian, but it looks like he's not so lucky. as he spins on what looked like was going to be his out. Precious tenths he needs on his lap time. Traffic the line, and that is good for fourth, just as predicted. So if he goes on a rolling lap, I think he'll be able to take away Carlos Osterweg's third place. No, okay, so he might go on this once again. Very, very little top four. Let's go to the monitors. 4/10 of a second to Lewis Wedding, 9/10 of a second to Lewis Wedding, and just barely under a second to Lewis Wedding. Right over Estoril and Sergio. So Ferrari are out to play today. Jordan was in the fight as well. There is Salvatore as well once again. There's a blue flag. There's the Irishman Williams having a dry spell. Straight to the next one, unfortunately. Let's see what this lap is going to be. Let me know if that's better. Now that should be a bit of a better balance. The desktop audio should be lowered a little more. And Lewis Wedding puts in another pole position getting lap. And he very quickly went back to the pits. So 2/10 of a second separate Lewis Wedding and Bajona currently. and a second to Karel Ostrolek, so the technology gap in the Jordan showing itself very quickly. Right, apologies for the silence. I was doing some further sound testing to try and get everything good and going for the race. So let's check the situation once again. So we have Salvatore Sirignano on pole with a 120 dead, followed by Lewis Wedding with a tenth of a second off of Sirignano. Bivona is 3/10 of a second off of Sirignano, followed by Ostrolek in the pits, Curtis, Potter, Griffin, who was going out again, Alexis Borden and Nick Holliday rounding out the field. So, Ferrari looking very strong. It's going to be an entertaining one today, if they can hold that form. But I am wondering about the Jordan, who is going to be a dark horse in this Grand Prix, because I honestly think he is very, very, very quick for what the Jordan is. And the Jordan isn't the quickest car in 96, so I'm looking very forward to seeing how he performs. So Tina Curtis back on track, the McLaren skittish a little bit there. Oh, that's a bad lockup. Yeah, that McLaren doesn't seem to be driving as well as Tina would like it to drive. We'll come back to that later, but 5th place is quite respectable at the moment. So Karel Ostrolek, Bivona, who's having troubles, all on track. Look at the gap between Bivona and Wedding. There's nothing between them. Thousandths of a second between those two. And then Sirignano back on track again. I'm going to pull out some stats so you guys can get a better idea of what the championship is like at the moment and get some information on board. I did do this stream fairly impromptu. Okay, let's see. Let's get some bits and pieces out and sort everything. Okay, so the championship situation for as of before this Grand Prix is quite interesting actually, as Curtis is out of laps. Owen Potter still has some laps to go himself. Osterlek still holding that fourth. Sirignano and Bivona glued together in Ferrari. Wedding still just holding on to pole on a thread. Osterlek improves again in the Jordan, so there's a lot of entertainment going on, qualifying wise. Sirignano on his way for improvement, I wonder. No improvement yet. There's Ronan Griffin in the back, not having a very impressive race or qualifying in the Williams, but anything can happen in the race. Did I mess that up? No, I didn't. I said qualifying first, then race. I think so. Anyway, anything can happen in the race, so qualifying isn't the end of the world. Borden, the teammate of Lewis Wedding, in 8th. And Nick Holliday still struggling in 9th, unfortunately. But as we look down the straightaway, let me tell you the situation for the 1996 World Drivers' Championship. Lewis Wedding has things almost quite, pretty much not quite. He's pretty much the champion. Just looking to add to his accolades with another win here today, if possible. With 86 points, Bivona is behind with 49 points. Behind Bivona is Spirichev with 35 points. Tina Curtis is 4th with 27 points. Alexis Borden is 5th with 18. Owen Potter 6th with 14. 7th is Ronan Griffin with a long string of retirements, unfortunately. 5 retirements in a row. So hopefully he breaks that bad luck today. With 9 points for Williams. Salvatore, the new Ferrari hire, 8 points. Karol Osterlek, strong in Jordan, 7 points. 10th is Jeff Riviera, the Frenchman in a French team, not present here tonight, with 3 points. Myself with 2 points. And Nick Holliday with 1 point for McLaren Mercedes. A long string of retirements for the American. So it seems like Americans don't do well in McLaren, as we know with Michael Andretti back in 1993. So with the Constructors' Championship, as I said, Benetton are champions with 104 points. While Ferrari are second with 51 points, but the fight for second in the Constructors' Championship is definitely very much alive if Ronan can finish well today and the Ferraris do not finish. McLaren is with 28 points, so they are a long way away from Williams in third with 44 points. Jordan have 21 points in 5th, Ligier with 11 points in 6th, and no other team has scored World Constructors' Championship points since that. So that's the roundup for points-wise. As Bivona takes pole, and Lewis Wedding is dethroned from pole. So he is now back out on track trying to change that. Osterlek is in 3rd. Salvatore Sirignano out of laps and has to settle for 4th. So well done to Osterlek in the Jordan. And Wedding actually is out of laps. So Bivona is your pole sitter today. And that is the first pole for Bivona since... Actually, he got pole in Italy. But that broke about a 9-race drought of no poles and a lot of second place finishes. Meanwhile, Borden takes 8th, with the only car left out on track being herself. Griffin is 7th, Nick Holiday is 9th, Owen Potter is 6th. So that is your qualifying order. Boivona, Lewis Wedding, Osterlek, Sirignano, Tina Curtis, Owen Potter, Ronan Griffin, Alexis Borden, Nick Holiday. Now, I will take a short break to prepare for the stream and get water and things and such, and make sure the audio is perfect. So if you're here early, there is not much of interest to watch at the moment. Just setting things up. The Grand Prix is the true entertainment for the evening, and I will see you in about roughly 15 minutes. And we are back. So we've just come to the end of qualifying, with 10 minutes to go. Cars are indeed out on track practicing. And we're back. So, 4 minutes till the beginning of the race. The cars are out I can't talk. Excuse me. The cars are out and practicing for the warm-up. We'll go through the qualifying order shortly once the cars are gridded up for the formation lap. There's Owen Potter going by, followed by Alexis Borden. Keep on the track side cameras. There's not much going on track. We're just kind of waiting for the Grand Prix to get going in itself. I will be back with you shortly once the formation and starting orders are given. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the long wait. So, we are now grinning up for the Portuguese Grand Prix, round 11 out of 12 for the Virtual Formula Universe 1996 Formula One World Championship. Portuguese Grand Prix from Estoril. So all the cars griding up, and away we go for the formation lap. Agostino Bivona from Italy, driving for Ferrari from Italy, is first place, a second string of pole positions. So he had pole last time in Monza, following a 9-race drought where he either finished second or didn't take pole. So he did have one retirement and I think one third place, but he's been second best for quite a while, but he doesn't want to be second best today. Following that is two-time world champion Lewis Wedding, about to be three-time world champion for Benetton. Already wrapped up the constructors title, looking to add another trophy to his repertoire of wins. Third is Polish wildcard Karol Ostrolek for Jordan. Very impressive result there for third in qualifying. Fourth is the new signing Salvatore Sirignano, an Italian to pair with Agostino Bivona in Ferrari. Fifth is Tina Curtis, driving for McLaren. She has perpetually come in third place over the course of the season. Sixth is Owen Potter, rounding out the points-paying positions in Jordan. Seventh is Ronan Griffin, not looking particularly strong today, unfortunately. Eighth is Lewis's teammate, Alexis Borden, the Canadian woman. And ninth is the American Nick Holliday, who's had a bit of a nightmare of a season with a string of DNFs. So, apart from that, we are preparing now to get to the start. All cars preparing to get going. Smoking up those tires, ensuring everything's good and okay. And we are ready for the lights. 3 lights, 2 lights, green. And the Portuguese Grand Prix is now underway. And there's a bit of a lag. Oh, something's happened. I think something's gone wrong, a technical issue. There may have been a restart. Something could have happened. Let's see. The stewards may have warranted a restart. We'll have a look. Just when the cars got going as well. That's unfortunate. Let's see. Ah, I see the problem. So Salvatore lost connection on the race start, and that has prompted the rule for a 1-race grace period restart for the driver. So already Salvatore with some bad luck. Hopefully that bad luck doesn't repeat itself. So we're back again in warm-up, it seems. And yes, we are indeed waiting for Salvatore to come back, who I believe is right on cue. Indeed he is. Salvatore is back. So we'll be getting going shortly. I'll leave you looking at Lewis Wedding for the moment. And there we go. Now we are back and we are taking the restart. So hopefully no technical issues for the grid again. The cars are setting down to begin their second formation lap of the evening. Patiently waiting. For what it's worth, I think the race is going to be far more entertaining. Hopefully there's no problems. It's a very tight qualifying. And there we are. So, formation lap is underway again for the restart of the Portuguese Grand Prix after technical issues had bothered Salvatore Sirignano. So, Bivona on pole once again. This will be his second consecutive pole in a row since Monza, and that would be his first pole in 9 races since Monza. Following that is your 1996 World Drivers' Champion and World Constructors' Champion Lewis Wedding, making it 3 titles in a row for the Australian man. Polish man Karol Ostrolek with a brilliant 3rd place qualifying position for Jordan. 4th place is Salvatore Sirignano, who unfortunately disconnected at the end of the formation lap, which prompted the red flag. 5th place, Tina Curtis. I don't know why I keep making that mistake. Apologies. 5th place, Tina Curtis for McLaren. Owen Potter, 6th place for Jordan. 7th is Ronan Griffin, struggling a little bit. Had a 5-race string of DNFs, unfortunately for himself. And 8th place is Alexis Borden, and 9th place is American Nick Holliday, who was having a bit of a nightmare of a season, contrasting Michael Andretti's time at McLaren. And hopefully things get better for him today, as we are heading all the way back down to the start-finish straight. Cars smoking their tires up as much as possible to retain the heat as we round the penultimate curve to finish the second formation lap attempt of the evening. Looking down the long straight of Curval, tires being smoked. As we grade up again, looks like there are no issues. I may take one last sip of water before I commentate non-stop. Refreshing. Now, everyone into place. Engines revving, lights are coming on. 2 lights, 1 light, and we have green. Now the Portuguese Grand Prix is now officially underway. Bivona off to a great start. No issues on his hit off the line. Lewis Wedding holding position. Karol Osterek holding position. Sirignano holding position. It looks like Borden, Griffin, Holiday 3 wide, but no contact. And it seems like the first lap has not seen any position changes. Sirignano having a little bit of a lockup. That's Karol Osterlek now tucking under the rear wing of Lewis Wedding as they go down the back straight. Halfway through the first lap. And it's a very clean start into Orla, turn 7. I butchered that, I'd say. And then Gancho, so turns 8, 9, and 10. Again, I apologize to the Portuguese people out there listening who are listening to my horrible pronunciations. Into the S's before the Parabolica Ayrton Senna. And that is going to complete the first lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Look at the gap that Bivona has already built on the pack. And maybe Oostenrijk will have a go at Lewis Wedding for second place. Bivona with the fastest lap of the race in 1:28.3. Through Curval, up into Curva 2. Curva VIP. Towards Curva 3. And it looks like Oostenrijk is definitely preparing for a move. Look at how close he's getting to the rear wing of Lewis Wedding as Tina Curtis is fighting Owen Potter. No overtake attempt quite yet from the British man on the Irish woman. Karel Oostenrijk waiting patiently from Sirignano, who is also waiting very patiently for his opportunity to strike. Further down the field, it is Borden and Griffin having a tougher race, and Nick Holliday rounding out the field totally. So there we go, Bivona again. Starting the third lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix with no issues. Looks like he's on course. That's a 1:22.9. He's on course to win if he can keep that strength up after the pit stops. Lewis Wedding weaving in the straight to try and take away some aerodynamic purchase from Karel Oostenrijk, who is definitely preparing to get a move done, but he is wise and he is not overly aggressive as Lewis Wedding goes wide, struggling to keep that car from understeering. There is another battle in the background. Owen Potter and Tina Curtis, understeer of the cars at play. Sirignano now stalking Karel Oostenrijk as he is noticing Karel might be having a little bit of trouble getting by. He has a looks. He tells Karel, I'm there, I'm waiting. He did have a look, but he didn't go through with it. Let's go on board. And those guys are nose to tail. And all this scrapping is letting Bivona run away with it. This might be Bivona's, I believe, either first or second win of the season if he can just keep it on track, which he will if he has no pressure like this. And maybe his teammate can get the 1-2 if he can get past Oostenrijk. That is Bivona with a 1:22.3 fastest lap. And now we go again. Quick lap check. 3 laps gone out of 36. So, Bivona from Wedding, from Oostenrijk, from Sirignano, from Curtis, fighting Potter, fighting Borden, and Griffin trying to find his feet. There is Nick Holliday trying to pick up the pieces of what seems to be a very uncomfortable car to drive. But this is all the hype. This is what we come to watch. Positions 2, 3, and 4 all together. That is I can't say his name now with all the excitement. That is Salvatore Sirignano having a look once more in the rear wing of Karel Oostenrijk, and look how close they get in that tight hairpin chicanery type of section. It must be a horrible section on the wrists. I'm not a fan of that part of the track. So Salvatore now going through the Parabolica Ayrton Senna, and Karel seems to pull away a little bit on the straights, using all of that Peugeot engine power. And I think through consistency alone, Wedding is slowly gaining back on Bivona, who seems to be trying to just stay consistent and take it easy and not make any mistakes. This is quite the difficult track. That's Oostenrijk now, catching up a little bit through the turns. And you can see the power that Lewis Wedding has on the straight. That Benetton is much more efficient than the Jordan. but Carroll gets it all back in the corners, so it's going to be a very, very good race for him. But as we know, anything can happen in Formula One. This is where Carroll and even Salvatore make up all their time. They're really good under brakes and in the corners. So I think Wedding is running less wing, and that is going to give him some troubles. Because look at if you just look how far Lewis Wedding pulls away in the straight, you can see it. His car getting a little bit further and further as Ostrolek sets the fastest lap, so he is definitely on the attack. Baivona's form has dropped off a little bit, but this might be the wake-up call for him to drive a little bit harder. Meanwhile, further down the field, massive battling going on. 5th, 6th and 7th. McLaren, Jordan and Benetton, as it seems the Williams is waiting in the wings. Holiday is far and away now. 5 laps gone in the Grand Prix, and Curtis is off. Curtis is off, recovers well, but loses 2 positions. Now pulling out to see if she can pick up the pace against Borden, and she pulls out, but there's not enough room. That's a costly mistake for the Irish woman. Costly mistake. Now Borden having a look potentially at Owen Potter, who massively capitalized from that situation. Meanwhile, our top 4 still nose to tail, waiting to see who makes the first mistake. This is some great racing, really great racing here at Estoril. And now maybe Ostrolek will have a chance. He needs to get the draft, but it looks like Wedding had the draft from Baivona, which kept him in front. Wedding seems to be priming himself to go for first, and there's not enough room. Baivona cuts him off, and that holds up Ostrolek, which gives Salvatore purchase to get back on Ostrolek's rear wing, and a Baivona another lockup. It's tight up at the front. It's really tight. Let's go on board. T-cam side saddle. And Wedding working that steering wheel very hard to stay with Baivona and try and add another win to his string of successful Grand Prix finishes. And now Salvatore is all over the back of Carroll. The high headrest there of the Ferrari F310, I believe, hiding the head of Sirignano, so definitely well protected in that cockpit. Now let's see any moves from anybody. No, not quite yet. I don't want to look away from this battle, but I do want to see if Borden has made a move yet on Potter, and it hasn't been. But now we see Griffin making a move on Curtis, and it is very, very clinical. Meanwhile, there's a challenge for the lead, and oh my goodness! Baivona pushes Wedding off the track to maintain first position. That may be a protest, and long talks with the stewards about that one. Let's see now if Salvatore is going to use that chaos to put the Ferraris 1 and 2. Dramatic stuff at the Portuguese Grand Prix as Ostrolek makes a mistake, and it's just enough for the Ferraris to go 1 and 2 in Portugal. 1 and 2 at Portugal. Brilliant stuff. And now Benetton and Jordan must pick up the pieces. Can the Ferraris pull away? Look how quickly Wedding came back in the corners to Ostrolek. He is furious, I'd say, with that aggressiveness from Baivona. But Baivona is out here racing to win. And that is sometimes just what you have to do to win. So now, let's see if team orders come into play, because Salvatore is in the draft of his fellow Italian, and it looks like Salvatore indeed is looking to ask for first. He is trying to get his first win with Ferrari here in Portugal at the detriment of his teammate. And it depends on what his teammate wants to do. And his teammate is indeed letting him through. He's gone wide. He's let him. He's given him an opportunity to pass. Bivona is indeed struggling. He locked up. He is definitely holding up his fellow Italian countryman. So it looks like there could be a clinical switch for position under orders. Let's see. Sirignano pulls out, but Bivona does not let him by. And now Ostrolek breaking deep to avoid the Australian from getting third place back. Let's watch this situation as it develops with Salvatore and Bivona. So Jean Todt must be sweating from the pit wall. Look at this. This is just great stuff. Look at them, nose to tail, one after another, constantly. I think we're on the 6th lap now. And down the field, Potter has managed to pull away from Griffin, who is in the points. Borden must have made a mistake. Curtis definitely made a mistake in 8th. There is the McLaren of Holiday in 9th. So mistakes being made by McLaren as we see what happened to Bivona. Bivona must have gone into the pits. He has gone into the pits. So Bivona stopping early. There is Sirignano leading the Grand Prix from Ostrolek from Wedding, and this is extremely exciting. Wedding going to look for second place if he can get the chance. Salvatore having a wonderful recovery from 4th place in qualifying to 1st, being patient, waiting, not over driving his car, and he is rewarded with leading the Grand Prix. But can he keep it together? I think Bivona has the plan to undercut these three if possible, maybe going on the hard tires. Definitely started on the soft if he's in so early. Where is Owen Potter? He is 4th. Griffin is 5th, Bivona back out in 6th. Borden probably won't catch the Italian on old rubber. Let's go back and see. Ostrolek and Sirignano still very close. Who will go into the pits next? Let's watch from Lewis Wedding's headrest and see if anyone dives into the pits at the end of the Ayrton Senna Parabolica. No one yet in the pits, so it is indeed an early stop for Bivona, and Bivona may be trying to finish on hards. Let's check at the rubber of Wedding's tires. You can see they are definitely scratched up very well, same as Ostrolek and Salvatore, who seems to have extremely worn tires. He's definitely on softs as well as Ostrolek and Wedding. It is not that hot today here at Estoril. I believe it is only indeed 22 degrees in air temp, but 28 degrees on track, so it's nearly 30 degrees. Very hot for soft tires. Very hot. As we continue with this trio, which are spacing out a little bit, it looks like they are taking their time to think and play some mental chess and see what is the best course of action to take before the pit cycle begins. So, once again, I think we have a car in the pits. Yes, we have Holiday, who has just stopped. No stop from our top three. We are having an incoming stop from Owen Potter. Salvatore does not seem like he's going to pit anytime soon, as he sets the fastest lap of 1:21.8. And there we go. We have Potter diving into the pits. Griffin now moving up into 4th due to that. There is Bivona definitely coming after the Williams of Roden Griffin. And will we see a stop from Borden? We will not. Curtis, is she yet to stop? She has stopped already, indeed. That is Bivona with the fastest lap of 1:21.5, so he must be on hards. Hards are the optimal compound at this point in time with a 30-degree track temp. Curtis stopped with fresh rubber, as you can see on the tires. Let's check our top three again. Now, Salvatore, so he's done a Schumacher-esque in lap, preparing for his pit stop, and we have Ostrolek preparing for his pit stop. Wedding looks like he wants to overcut these two. Griffin, has he stopped? Let's see as the light shines on the rubber of the Williams. He has not stopped. That tire is very worn. There's Bivona. Will Bivona get a chance to undercut these two? Now, diving into the pits, two of them. Lewis goes back into the lead. Let's see, where does Bivona come out in all of this? That's Holiday now 9th, unlapping himself with those two in the pits. And it's a clean stop for Sirignano, not so clean for Ostrolek. There is Ronan Griffin, and there is Bivona. And it looks like the early stop has not quite worked out, because Bivona, despite a 1:21.4 fastest lap, has not managed to get out in time. Ostrolek side by side as he leaves the pits. And will Ostrolek cut off Bivona? He will indeed. That is a brilliant stop from the Polish man. And inside is Bivona, but Bivona doesn't have the room. And Bivona is almost pushed off by the Polish man. There's a swap back. Outside line goes Ostrolek, and that is excellent defense. Let's see what... Oh, it's not over yet. That's Bivona using the power of the Ferrari V12. There's a switchback once again, and deep braking on the inside line. It's not enough. And Bivona somehow makes that race strategy work. That is excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, Ronan Griffin is a dark horse in all this mess because he has a stop, but Bivona just drives straight past him, and so does Ostrolek. No, cut off is Ostrolek, and that's going to be a detriment to Ostrolek's gap. Oh, no, he does get around, or does he not? Definitely the tyres of Ronan Griffin cannot stay up to snuff to defend that position, and Griffin is slowing, but that has not helped Ostrolek in the slightest. So now the Ferraris are 2 and 3. Let's see if any of them clock the fastest lap. No. So Wedding now to plan his stop. This is going to be a thriller, because if the Ferraris have timed it right, they should have just about enough gap time to make it to Wedding. And now there seems to be some strategy at play. Or are the Ferraris battling amongst each other? That is not a good idea when you have a fast Jordan behind both of you. And they are indeed weaving. They are indeed fighting. And they are using up the fresh rubber that they both earned from the pit stops against each other, which I would highly advise is not the ideal situation here. So now Bivona has swapped with Sirignano, and that may have slowed them a bit, because Karol Ostrolek seems to be getting the gap back. There is our race leader, Wedding, now stopping. Let's check, where are the Ferraris going to come out in all this? There is our Australian. Is it a good stop? It seems a little longer than necessary, but it's good enough, and I think it's just barely going to make the cut for Wedding to come out first, and it's going to be super, super, super tight. He's going to come out in a mess between these three, and he's out, and he comes out in just barely second place, and Salvatore is going to go side by side to try and poach away second place, but it's not going to be enough. Wedding has cold tires, but he is defending just enough to keep second place, and now Ostrolek is having a look with the cars going 3 wide coming out, and this is playing all into Bivona's hands as he's leading. He has a lapped car ahead. That's going to be a wild card for these three, as Wedding is fighting as hard as humanly possible to get Salvatore out of his way. Salvatore has a McLaren in front to deal with, and that is Nick Holliday blue flagging excellently. There's a yellow flag on track. I don't know why, but it seems like it's gone as quickly as it's appeared, and the battle continues. The war rages on. Excellent stuff at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now the Ferraris have successfully pulled off a 1 and 2. This is exactly what Ferrari desire. They are in control of this race, and they are the only ones who could lose control of this race, as we have the Polish man tucked under the rear wing of our resident Australian, two-time world champion, about to be 3, but it doesn't look like he's going to win this race, and it seems like a precursor of things to come for 1999, because the Jordan is rumored to have very good aerodynamic and engine developments underway. In any case, Ostrolek is driving the pants off that Jordan. Down the field, Owen Potter doing due diligence, holding 5th and a points-paying position. The British Lion on his own from the Irishman, Ronan Griffin, who is redeeming himself for the points-paying 6th place after a drought of DNFs. Borden not having the greatest race of not having the greatest race of her life at the moment, and Curtis just not having the race she wanted. The tires or the setup, there's something wrong fundamentally with the McLaren, and McLaren have really spent all their time developing next year's car and really throwing 1996 to the wayside, so that's going to be unfortunate for these two. Meanwhile, look at the gap that Bivona has pulled, so maybe it was very much correct for Bivona to challenge for the lead against his fellow countryman. But these 3 are never going to separate from themselves, and it's going to be a tiring and long race, and there's going to be mistakes if they're continuously hot on each other's heels. And goodness gracious me, it continues again. Wedding having another look at the Ferrari, and he draws across and he passes by, and that's an excellent clinical pass. But I'd say Salvatore has a few choice words to say about that move, and he won't let that go lightly as he tucks under the rear wing and tries to maintain pace. But look at Wedding's exit. It's an excellent exit, and it's enough to get about a couple thousandths of a second of a gap away from Salvatore. But Salvatore is consistent, is quick, is capable to stay ahead of Lewis Wedding if he so desires. But it does seem, let's take a look at the T-Cam once again. It does seem that Wedding's tires are significantly less worn than Sirignano's. There is Bivona, who is stopping again, or it may just be a miscommunication error from the pit wall, and that is to be ignored. 1:21.3, fastest lap. Sirignano must be trying to be patient and wait, as he did early in the race, to get his first place. There could be a second stop. There is a slow car, and it's a mistake from Bivona. There could be an issue. There could be an issue. Slow puncture, something, anything. Maybe the pit stop is indeed unplanned and he needs to go in, but Bivona's race is starting to unravel. It is definitely a problem. What is going on? What is going on? Drama, drama, drama. And Wedding must be seeing this and rubbing his hands together, licking his lips, having a go. Let's see what I can do here and get another win added to my tally for a 3rd World Championship. Only Suzuka remains after this Grand Prix. Now let's see if Bivona goes into the pits. It may just have been a mistake, but let's just watch. And he is indeed going into the pits. There's an issue. There's an issue. What has happened? Bivona's race has come undone once again, and now it's left to Salvatore to uphold the pride of the prancing horse. Damage? It's not a long stop. It may have just been an error. A tire not changed, a fuel not refueled. And now here comes Potter, who might have a chance. And Bivona must be incredibly discouraged by what has just taken place. But let's go back to our top 3, because Ostrolek is now putting himself back into action, seeing that Bivona is now out of the equation. Salvatore runs a tiny bit wide. Ostrolek does do the same, and if this battling occurs, then Wedding will be able to pull away for a win. Let's check the lap count. 18 of 36 laps gone. There is a retirement. That's Holiday, blue flagged. Tina Curtis out of the race, so it did indeed all unravel for the Irish woman. Ostrolek now looking, waiting, and this might be his chance. Stay in the draft, 7th gear, 300 kilometers per hour, pulling out, maybe selling a dummy for the inside, not quite yet, but he is oh, there's contact! There's contact! And he misjudges his braking and his line. That does not seem to be the fault of the Italian. He was just doing his diligence, defending normally. It did not seem to be an erroneous maneuver for Salvatore, and that could be serious wing damage that will definitely hurt Ostrolek's pace. Bivona is not far away either. Potter is still 5th. Griffin's still 6th, so he is definitely settling for 6th. That one singular point. Borden is not far away from Griffin and could challenge for that last point if she so desires. Meanwhile, our Australian, unbreakable, unstoppable, solid as a rock, still leading the Grand Prix without issue. As always, magnificent. A string of first places. I think he has 7 or 8 consecutive wins. And he is now pulling a 5-second gap. That is our 3rd-time world champion, Lewis Wedding, maintaining the natural order of being in first place. And it doesn't seem like his downfall is anytime soon, and he is very much in his prime. So, now Ostrolek having yet another go, so that contact has not at all slowed him down, and he looks towards the inside. Salvatore very wide, and the car just understeered and did not cooperate, and now the Jordan is outpacing the Ferrari. I think tyres are starting to become a problem here, because Salvatore's tyres are much very... I forgot what I was going to say. They are very much worn. They're definitely worn, as are Ostrolek's, but Ostrolek is handling the 30-degree weather better than Salvatore is. But Salvatore isn't dropping back. He is relatively close. That is Bivona trying to pick up the pieces of what has been a mess at Ferrari for his strategy. And actually Potter is closing and closing. Borden is 5 seconds to Griffin, and is now planning to lap Nick Holiday, having a bit of a nightmare of a race. Maybe he's just waiting to see if he can get some points out of attrition. Let's go back with the leader. The leader is still Lewis Wedding, who has hard fought his way up to first. Let's see what's going on. Where are these two? Ostrolek is now pulling a gap to Salvatore, so Salvatore definitely struggling with his Ferrari. Where is Bivona? How far away is Bivona? Bivona is certainly far away. Too far away, in fact, to even be considered close to his teammate at the moment. And there's Owen Potter having an excellent but quiet race, as is Ronan Griffin, who is far away in his Williams. And there he is coming around the corner. I would have thought that Borden is closer. Let's check the gaps from Borden to Griffin. It is roughly in that 5 to 6 second range. Doesn't seem to be closing. After all, even if Griffin is having a bad race, that is still the Williams, and the Williams has been the dominant car for the past 5 years. Although Lewis, with his form, has brought the Benetton to stardom. Ostrolek has converted excellent qualifying pace in that Jordan to even more excellent race pace, and maybe he can challenge for a title in the next season, which will be 1999, where the Jordan is in one of its fastest forms, albeit unreliable. And Ostrolek did heavily struggle with reliability troubles in his debut, I think when he started with Tyrrell Yamaha in 95. So, not much going on at the moment. We have Salvatore, who has called a planned pit stop. And oh my goodness. The car is stalled. He's in the wall. The wing is damaged. And I don't believe what I just saw. I do not believe what I just saw. Ferrari has completely and utterly come apart. Owen Potter is now up into fourth, and Bivona will inherit the third. Salvatore was just coming to the end of his lap, and he's still there in the car, and I believe he does not believe what just happened. It just all got away from him. He locked up. How did that happen? The car just snapped. Now Ostrolek is planning to stop. Griffin is somehow fourth now. Borden fifth. Owen Potter sixth. Salvatore has retired from the Grand Prix after all that work. I don't believe it. And now Nick Holliday is about to be seventh. And had Tina Curtis stayed in the race, she might have been in the points. But Ronan Griffin is going to finish fourth once again. This guy always finishes fourth. And maybe, if that prophecy is true by any metric, Bivona will finish second. Because when Griffin finishes fourth, Bivona finishes second. So Ostrolek, now, with no worry except the gap to Bivona. He will just have to stay consistent. I think Wedding has more than earned the Grand Prix victory after all the trials and tribulations he's dealt with. I do not believe what I just saw. I cannot believe that Salvatore crashed. Ostrolek is pitting. Bivona still has fresh rubber, so we'll see who comes out on top at the end of the pit straight. Let's stick with Ostrolek and patiently wait for that pit cycle. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. How could Salvatore have just gone so wrong? So now, Ostrolek has come into the pits, and Bivona will inherit second place and the pride of Ferrari. And as I said, when Bivona finishes second, Griffin finishes fourth. And it looks like that's what's going to happen, because I do not see the power of the Jordan out-muscling the power of the Ferrari. So I've just gotten word that Salvatore had a puncture in the last corner, and that threw him off the road. So the softs did not uphold in 30-degree heat, and frankly I am a bit perplexed why someone would use softs in such heat when the hards are more optimal. And I can tell that These three are definitely on hards given the way they're driving. There's a lot of understeer in the corners for them. Wedding is now going to be pitting, second stop of the evening, with 18 seconds to Bivona, so maybe, just maybe, Bivona can pull some magic here, but his tyres are going to be more worn than Wedding's come out of the pits. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. There is Bivona closing. 3, 2, 1. Fastest lap of 1:29. He knows this is his chance. He knows they're almost alongside, just not quite, but there's going to be a battle to be had here between Bivona and Wedding for the win. This is the battle for the win. There should be roughly 17 laps gone. Nope. 10 laps to go. It's actually 26 laps gone. I have no perception of time. Excuse me as Bivona makes a mistake, but he stays on the road, and Ferrari's hopes are clinging on by a thread, and I'm sure the mechanics are on the edge of their seats. Bivona tucked up under the rear wing of Wedding and is looking everywhere for a move, but there's no room. He touches the grass once again and he hits Wedding and he goes wide, and it's all come undone again for Ferrari. What drama, what entertainment, what passion to be seen on the roads. And the legend continues to add to his legacy with stone cold defense. He held his line, he got hit, but it did not phase. Will Bivona try again? We'll see. Did he get damage? We'll see. We'll see by the end of this lap if his driving has changed at all. What a race! What a race! And there is Ostrolek, third, and Owen Potter, fourth. The Jordans are 3 and 4, and it looks like Bivona has damage. Like, that car is not handling as it should. The Ferraris are just, oh, my heart bleeds for them. The Ferraris are just disastrous. They were at one point they were 1 and 2. Actually, twice in this race they were 1 and 2. They were 1 and 2. But you know, Bivona's trying to hold it all together, but that car does not seem like it's behaving as it should. Let's see his tyre wear. His tyres aren't that worn, so it must be a damage issue. He must have suspension. If he does pit, Wedding most certainly wins the Grand Prix, without a doubt in my mind. Because I know Wedding can hold out for 10 more laps on his current set. He's got fresh rubber. Now Ostrolek might inherit second place. Let's see. Going for the overtake side by side, and indeed the race has completely fallen apart for Ferrari. Bivona must have some sort of damage, some sort of issue, and that's almost a disaster more. An unsafe release for Borden, possibly? There's too much drama. I can't keep up with it all. Second place goes Ostrolek. Where is the Jordan of Owen Potter for third place? He's far away. Still to unlap himself against Nick Holliday. Griffin missing out on all this action in the Williams. Borden is now in the last points paying position. I think she always was after quite some time. I'm not sure. Haven't been able to keep up. Yeah, indeed. Borden was indeed 6th after Sirignano's retirement. So, now, the paradigm has shifted. And I hear a car off track. I don't know whose car is it. It is the car of Borden, so not any drama in the top 3, but Bivona must be disgusted with himself. Actually, what happened in 4th place, Griffin lost 4th place to Potter, who was extremely outdriving that Jordan excellently. So Jordan have driven the best they have driven in a long time and really dialed up the setup today, and it's excellent stuff to see from them. Absolutely exquisite top notch from the Jordan team. And Bivona is only one mistake away from giving Owen Potter third place, and that would ascend Potter to British Lion status if he could pull it off, as he is endearingly called by the English fans of his. And Wedding is missing out on all this drama because he's just been solid as a rock. I mean, he's been challenged. Well, he's not missing out on the drama. He was challenged by Bivona and held out, got hit, managed to keep the car on track without issue. No, maybe a bit of suspension damage, but not enough. Not enough to dislodge the superiority that is the Australian dominance. This is a 3-time world champion you're looking at here. He is going to be the 1996 Formula 1 Drivers' Championship, and that's going to pair with his 1995 and 1994 title wins. Across the finish line goes Wedding, roughly maybe 6 or 7 laps in the Grand Prix. I will check shortly. There is Ostrolek, 7 seconds separating Ostrolek and Bivona. I think Ostrolek can do it. I certainly believe that Ostrolek can hold out and keep that second place. I think it's going to be extremely entertaining to watch as the laps wind down. I'm looking for Owen Potter, which is taking an awful long time. Let's see where he is on track. There he is now, just coming into your picture. Griffin 5th, Borden 6th. Blue flags out for Borden. Bivona now lapping the Benetton as the Jordan continues. And actually, Bivona is making up serious time. He was very late on the brakes there, lapping Borden. So there's going to be a battle for second, I think. But as I said, if Bivona finishes second, where is he? Griffin almost always finishes 4th, so maybe he will magically find pace, or something will happen to Potter. Anyway, let's stick with Ostrolek for the time being. 8 seconds now separating Ostrolek, so he's actually increased the gap between them instead of it decreasing. I thought Bivona was certainly charging hard, but it seems too many issues for the Italian for him to truly push his V12 engine. Or is the Ferrari V10? Yeah, it's the Ferrari V10, not V12. The V12 was last year, so that's my mistake. Seven seconds still maintained between Ostrolek and Bivona, and Ostrolek definitely pushing relatively hard. He is holding that 10-second gap to Wedding. And let us do a quick lap check. So now 5 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Drama, 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 drama. It's been spectacular. It has been utterly spectacular. That 7-second gap is coming down little by little, and that's Bivona definitely who wants second place with a 120.8 fastest lap of the race. Low fuel trim, I'd say. Tires are definitely going to be more worn for Ostrolek than they are for Bivona, because Bivona had a third emergency pit stop. As you can see, they are almost barely worn. And Ostrolek has 4 more laps to just hang on. Meanwhile, Griffin and Potter, what did I say? If Bivona can finish second, Griffin will finish 4th. We know this. This is how the prophecy goes. This is how the prophecy goes. This has happened way too many times in the virtual Formula universe for it not to be almost religion. So now let's watch as the British and the Irish come together for another battle overseas in Portugal. Dare I say this is the rebirth of the Troubles? I don't want to offend anybody. But let's have a look. Let's keep our eye on Bivona for a minute. 6 seconds coming down to 5. Meanwhile, where's Potter and Griffin? Here we go. So we may see the power of the Williams come into action here as the tires wear out for Potter and he begins to struggle, and the chassis of the Jordan not being up to par with the chassis of the Williams, the aerodynamic superfluousness of the Williams being far and away better than almost every car on the grid. Let's see now, can he get the power down? The Wexford colours of the Irishman. He's certainly gaining serious time in the straight through horsepower alone. That's a smooth corner entry. Now he just needs to get his foot down and get more aggressive and charge certainly harder. This is going to continue to embroil. Where's the gap? Ostrolek and Bivona, 6 seconds. Ostrolek looks like he just might be able to hold out. The gap is just floating around 6 to 7 seconds, and it only seems to close on the front straightaway. I think just from... Oh, is that a lockup? No, it's not. It's just deep braking. 5 seconds, it's floating around. Back to 6 seconds. Let's check our 4th and 5th place battle now again. Owen Potter and Ronan Griffin providing us some quality entertainment and top-notch racing. Borden having peacefulness in 6th, and there is Holiday 7th. Back to 5th and 4th. Let's go on board with Griffin. And look at the power. He'll have a chance. Can he get in the draft? Deep braking, perhaps? No. He's leaving it. Potter seems to have Griffin in the corners, so it may be an aerodynamic setup difference. But Potter did understeer quite a bit there. If Griffin can just stay close enough to get use of that power on the straights, he will be able to get this 4th place. Let's check our laps again. 1 lap to go. So Wedding is on his final lap, followed by Ostrolek, who is definitely comfortably ahead of Bivona. So Griffin has to do it now. He has to get the position somehow. I don't know how. A lap and a half to go for the Irishman to get this 4th. I think there was 2 laps to go, not 1 lap. It's lap 35 out of 36. I think it's because Wedding is so far ahead that it just feels like these cars are lapped, but they're not. Now, here we go. Outside line, Griffin takes. Can he cut him off? No, he can't, and he has to settle for the poorer exit. And Owen Potter defending up to his moniker as a lion, keeping that 4th. That might have been Griffin's only chance. He needed to take the inside line there, but the Jordan is handling beautifully around Estoril, as we saw with Ostrolek. Wedding is now our Grand Prix winner. Ostrolek, brilliant 2nd place for Jordan. A heartbreaking 3rd for Ferrari. And it's going to come down to the line between Potter and Griffin. Griffin, you gotta do it now. You gotta do it for Ireland if you want to do it now. Look how close you are. You gotta send it. Meanwhile, for Potter, you gotta defend it. There's no room. There is no room. It's too tight. And the Jordan is just soaring like a knife through butter in those corners. And it looks like Owen Potter is just barely going to escape with fourth place. But maybe, just maybe, it's going to be tight. And on the line, it looks like Griffin just barely getting fourth place for Williams, for Ireland. That was exquisite. That was exemplary. And the curse is broken. Bivona doesn't finish second, but Griffin certainly finishes fourth. Borden takes sixth, and Nick Holliday seventh, which wraps up our Portuguese Grand Prix. What was that gap? Let's find out that gap. Never mind looking at the scenery. Thousandth of a second between Griffin and Potter. So the Peugeot let down Potter because he drove excellently. There are some cars heading into the pits. And that just about does it for our thriller of a Portuguese Grand Prix. That was absolutely wonderful. Wonderful, 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 wonderful is the word today for the Portuguese Grand Prix. That was unbelievable, and it was such a pleasure to watch it. I've been your commentator. Yeah, I can't. I'm even at loss for words. I've been your commentator, Matthew Sivignoni. That was the Portuguese Grand Prix, round 11 of 12 out of the Virtual Formula Universe Championship for 1996 Formula One. Wedding is your race winner, followed by Karol Ostrolek, second place. Third place is Agostino Bivona for Ferrari. Fourth place is Irishman Ronan Griffin beating Owen Potter in the Jordan over the line. Sixth place is Alexis Borden, consistent to get the points for the Canadian woman. Seventh is Nick Holliday, who had a tough race, but a finished race nonetheless. And eighth is a heartbreaker, a slow puncture for Salvatore Sirignano, who drove an excellent race for Ferrari, but it just did not come together in the way he had hoped it would. And finally, ninth place for I forget actually. I'm just, my mind is a jumble. Tina Curtis, who retired with an accident. So that is all from me, and hopefully we'll see you in Suzuka. Good night.